transitions over the horizon here. So a pretty nice time lapse, something we usually don't do. From this shot, we're going to take you to a live shot of downtown San Diego, where it is a
الآن الأخبار عن المظاهرة.
In its crackdown on Syrians demanding democratic reform. KUSI's John Soderman was at that protest and joins us now live in the newsroom with the story. John?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. The protesters are especially outraged over what was done to a 13-year-old boy. Over 100 Syrian Americans gather in Hillcrest to show their solidarity with their fellow countrymen in Syria, demanding an end to the current dictatorial regime under President Bashar Assad. 1, 2, 3, 4. The protesters not only call attention to the 1,400 people killed in Syria, but also to the shocking case of the 13-year-old boy whose body was found with his genitalia cut off, his neck broken, and his body riddled with bullets.
He was put in prison for a long time before he was in that process. He was tortured and he was released to his parents. And if you look at the condition of the body, it definitely shows that it was just recently tortured. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
This protest comes at a time when Syrians are making a run for the Turkish border, risking life and limb as Syrian troops do their best to thwart their efforts by doing things like burning down the building containing the only 8,000 Syrian Americans living in San Diego County. There really should be more protesters here. The reason they're not here? They say they're scared, even though they're not in Syria. They're scared because they say they're afraid pictures of them protesting will make their way into the hands of the Syrian government, endangering the safety of family members in Syria. And those fears may well be justified. We saw a man photographing the protest while crouched behind a tree. In the newsroom, John Soderman, KUSI News.
Some very strong passions there.
Demonstration in San Diego, California.
I think all Americans need to join with our Syrian brothers and sisters at these demonstrations and come out in all the cities across America. This is an important issue for all Americans to stand up. These people, I watch them on TV, they're chanting, "Give me liberty, give me death" in Arabic. And that's right from our own revolution 200 years ago. This is a great moment in the Middle East history. It's the greatest moment, the greatest event of the 21st century is the Arab uprising. And us Americans, we live in a free society. We have elections. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of newspapers, free TV. These people are fighting for the same things that we have in our country. And we need to come out and support them. The Syrians, they're putting all these videos on YouTube. It's not for entertainment. They're putting them on YouTube because it's the only way they can break the barrier. The Syrians have locked down the border. They won't let CNN in. They won't let in any international media at all. They have their own Syrian state TV is a giant propaganda machine. It's the biggest lying machine since Hitler's TV press. And so these people reaching out, they want the United States to get involved. They want the United Nations to get involved. They're calling for the international community to crack down on Assad regime.
So why do you think that the world, including the United Nations, is taking slower than what they did with Egypt and Tunisia?
I don't know what kind of deals are going on behind the scenes. It's disgusting to me that the Russians and the Chinese are blocking sanctions, or blocking the condemnation. People are dying in the streets every day. I think it's disgusting that Nancy Pelosi calls Assad her friend, that Dennis Kucinich says that it's just a dispute, and that when they're done, there'll be reforms. Kerry calls him a reformer, and Jimmy Carter called him reformer, and these people are not reformers. He's been lying for 11 years.
So do they know that this regime being there for plus 45 years? I mean, when would this reform come?
This reform will not come. This is like a monarchy. These people think they're pharaohs. There's statues in every corner. There's no reform. There needs to be revolution. They need to. This guy's worse than Saddam. There will never be reform. He needs to be toppled and put on trial like Saddam. That's when reform will come. When the people can finally seize power from the Ba'ath Party and from this police state mafia machine.
Syria will be free. Syria will be free. Oh, Bashar, you will see. Oh, Bashar, you will see. Syria will be free. Syria will be free. Hey, you get we're free. Freedom. The people united will never be defeated.
نبكي أنهم يا رب انتقم منهم. إنك على ما تشاء قدير وبالإجابة جدير يا أرحم الراحمين.
إن شاء الله.
Down, down with Bashar! Shame on Bashar!
حلك شعبك ياخد ما حلك يا سوري نظف دارك ولحق اسد بمبارك. حيوا الاسلام حيوا المسيحيه حيوا العروبه حيوا الاكراد.
Okay, we're here in San Diego supporting the Syrian people. The regime has gotten very brutal. We have over 10,000 people who fled to Turkey now as refugees because of the brutality of the Syrian regime and the security being detained and tortured and killed right away. I mean, even we're tens of thousands of miles away, and people here in the U.S. are still afraid of coming out and protesting because of fearing that the Syrian government will go and torture their family back home in Syria. So, I mean, that's how brutal our government in Syria is. That's why it's taking longer than Tunis and longer than Egypt. So we're just hoping that it'll end really soon, and then hopefully the people will gain their basic human rights.
This is the city of San Diego, Balboa Park. هذا من عشيرة الزونو يدعم الثورة السورية. التقت المجموعتان. The two groups now got together here in Laurel Street.
Long live Syria! Long live Syria! Down with Assad! Down with Assad!
تسأل الوحدات ويطلع مننا نتيجة وبعدين ناخذ خطوة تاني.
Quick announcement, brothers and sisters from Southern California and Orange County and LA County. We're going to have a town hall meeting on the 26th of this month. Next Sunday, a town hall meeting in Anaheim. We have a flyer going around.
And that's why we're all here to protest, because the people in Syria, they're dying and they need really help, and that's why we're all here to support Syria and its freedom.